Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, and I got a review for you from Dark Horse Comics. This is Shock Shop issue number 2. It is written by Cullen Bunn, art by Leila Leiz, colors by Bill Crabtree, and letters by Nick Piekos of Blambot. I just like the Nick Piekos. Okay, so to be honest, I wasn't really impressed with the first issue. The first issue was okay. It's an anthology horror story. Instead of it being different each issue, it seems like we're going to get like a 3-part series, like issue 1, 2, and 3 is all the same stories, like stuck in a part 1, part 2, and part 3. But the first 2 stories, Something in the Woods in the Dark and Familiars, I wasn't too impressed by the first issue. It was okay, it wasn't bad. The art was really what sold it, especially because they come with these double covers. I really like both covers on this one, but after reading the book, I kind of really dig this one a lot more than the other one. But let's get into it. I'm going to start out with Familiars first. That is the the main story, because you know the barcode's on this side, so you would start this way, I guess. But just like every other anthology, there's our narrator who's telling us these stories, and you kind of get a glimpse from Familiars. And Familiars, to be honest, when I read both of these, I couldn't even remember like what was going on. I had to go back and check. But Familiars is about like a story where like monsters have taken over. They're like living with this guy, or he's made a deal with them. He's recently been divorced and his kids are with his wife, but that's where that story is at. And of course this is part 2. The narrator, we do get her name. It's over here, and I'm going to try and pronounce it for you. It's Creole or French, so I know I'm going to mess it up, but it's Desodemone Nemo More. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure I've mispronounced that, but that's her, the narrator, who's telling us the story. And it's kind of cool because how she does it is she kind of explains that you are reading a book. It's not like a verbal story or something like that. Like she expresses, hey, oh, you're back for the next, issue of Familiars, have it right, in your subscription box kind of thing. But we do start out, and basically it's the guy that I was talking about, and he's recently divorced with his family. He's here dropping off his kids, and his kids mention that he has these like ghosts, living with him, specifically his daughter. His son kind of makes a big deal, like, you were supposed to keep that a secret. But it does kind of make him sound a little crazy, especially going through divorce. It's probably what he doesn't want. But anyways, the kids go back with the mom. It was the weekend with the dad. Of course, the first issue was him kind of introducing the, ghost, as the daughter put it. But this issue, he's dropping him off. We find out that the daughter left like her favorite teddy bear, and it's something that she can't sleep without, or something like that. So I want to say it's the boyfriend of the new mom. His name is Trevor. He's seen over here, but Trevor he eventually like picks up the call to go get the teddy bear for the daughter, even though he's kind of mad at it. But on his way back, something that unexpected happens, but that we find out that the Familiars are in the car with him. At first I didn't know what was going on, but you quickly find out. But the Familiars in the car, he can't see them, or monsters, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. I'm calling them Familiars because that's what the story's called. But basically they're in the car, he can't see them, and all of a sudden, as you can see, he starts getting like slashes and cuts all over his body. Eventually, I want to say he can see them, or he just knows they're there, because he's grabbing them and trying to fight with them. All the way he's in the car driving, so of course he's getting slashed up and killed by these monsters, and his car gets run off the road and smashed to pieces, and poor Trevor ends up dying due to the accident and the monsters killing him. Basically, at the end of the story, the dad of the story wakes up and seeing that the teddy bear is still there. He gets a call from the wife saying that Trevor died, and he kind of goes out into the living room, and his familiar buddies are there, and they're all covered in blood, and he kind of wants to know where they were, how come they hadn't been home, kind of thing. But that is the end of this issue, the part 2, and we'll get the end of it in the part 3 issue. There is a cool little like cover from like I guess an alternative cover right here, and then it kind of warns you, hey, don't stop reading right here, go ahead and flip the book at this point and go back to the beginning to read the other story. So that's what we're going to do, and the second story is Something in the Woods in the Dark. Now honestly, this is where the meat of the story gets going. The first story is okay. I like the whole like familiars in the car kind of thing, killing them and stuff. I thought that was kind of dope. No, this story right here, I don't even remember it the first time, but getting through it on this time, it was fantastic. I want to say it was probably the first comic ever that actually had me a little terrified. I wouldn't say scared or anything like that. I'm not easily scared. But let's get into it, right? So, Something in the Woods in the Dark, where we start back out with our narrator. Of course, she's over like, comics, as you can see right here. She's pulling like a bag of board out, and there's like some monster coming out of the book, which I thought was kind of cool. She says she's in the nickel bins. I wish we had nickel bins, right? God, I'd never leave stores if we had nickel bins. So we are back in the woods. As far as I can remember, I don't remember why they're in the woods. It's a group of people that are in the woods. One of their friends ends up like, he wandered off for like a moment. When they found him, he was dead. But as you can see right here, he is like, it looks like he has been dead for some time. But to them, he's only been gone for like a matter of moments. The group kind of chops it up to like all kind of different things. A bear attack comes across, but the evidence played out in front of them kind of, counterattacks any of these weird ideas like bear attack or he fell and ended up like that, because he has aged so much. And excuse me, but I don't remember the relationship. It could be his girlfriend, his wife, but we see right here someone that's connected to this guy Tom that ended up dying. She's of course grieving and kind of taking it all in, and she's hysterical and stuff. The group at this point that that they had something they were supposed to do, that they were out in the woods for some apparent reason, and now they're kind of like, okay, since Tom died, we need to turn back. Where they are, they're kind of like in the halfway point, so it's far either way. They end up making the decision to trek, and as they're making the decision to trek, we see that the grieving woman who just lost her husband / boyfriend or whatever, a friend kind of walks up to her and like sees that she's being sympathetic and stuff like that, and then we see that she kind of looks at the main guy that's hurting him, and for some reason he gets mad. I didn't quite understand the hostility there. But there's something else to note that comes right after that, because right down here we see that the grieving, girlfriend or wife or maybe fiance, she kind of sees something in the woods, and it happens to be Tom. This is the guy that did die in the first issue, and now he's kind of like wickedly smiling at her, and he's got this like crazy looking grin right there. It's so cool. But of course, she takes off running after, her man, Tom, into the woods, and before anybody can kind of figure out what's going on, she's gone. The main guy that ends up leading the group, he ends up grabbing another guy and another girl to go search for the girl that just ran off. And they do find her, and when they find her, she's suspended and kind of being puppeteered by this weird, like blobbish, crabbish looking monster type thing. Basically at this point, this girl is dead. Because this thing is like specifically talking through her. It's like, it's kind of mimicking the last things that she was saying as she ran off, and she was saying that she was wrong, they should have waited for him, that he didn't die, she knew all along he didn't die. Of course, that dude is dead, and we're quickly finding out how he died. It looks like this thing is sucking the living life force out of her, but instantly, you know, tentacles reach out, goes for the group and stuff. We do see that the other guy that the leader brought with him gets kind of grabbed by the tentacles and just yanked back into the air, and then kind of just thrown into the air, and that's the last we see of that guy. We do see over here that the group, one of the other members kind of has that same looking smile, and they kind of, you know, and it was the girl that they took along, you know, it was the one of the 3 members that went and met this. There she is right here. And she's coming back and she's got the sinister stare. They all start asking her what the hell's going on, where is everybody, did you find the girl? And quickly we find out that it's not that girl, that it's some kind of like monster thing, because she quickly shifts and tentacles and all kind of stuff comes out. And that's what she is. And that thing is so badass looking, I don't even know what to call it. Some kind of skeleton, I don't know. They do show, but that's where the story ends in this issue. They do show a picture of that creature looking thing that is attacking all those people. And basically she tells you at this point to flip the book if you haven't already read the other story. But that is these 2 stories in this book. I'm telling you, Something in the Woods in the Dark was wonderful. It's so creepy, it's so weird, the way it's like tricking them and stuff. There's other stories that are similar to this. I can say Annihilation kind of had, you know, moments like this and stuff like that. But for me, it's unique. It's unique, different, and unique enough to be, you know, its own. And I will say the terrifying, you know, level is getting, it really depends on how the story ends. It could get really, really scary, you know, where they all like, you know, oh, they're all gonna die. But I don't know. But hey, that's my review. Those are my thoughts. Let me know down below. Did you pass this up? Did you read it? What'd you think? You know, I thought this was a wonderful issue, especially since this is Halloween week. We're getting closer to the best holiday ever. But hey, that's my review. That's all I got for you. I will have some more reviews coming. Yeah, but that's all I got. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye!